son of Maryam. The second one was the companion of Jurayj, who was a pious person. Jurayj took a secluded monastery for worship and confined himself in it. His mother came to him as he was busy in prayer, and she called Jurayj. He said, "My Rabb, my mother is calling me while I'm engaged in my prayer." He continued with his prayer. She returned, and she came on the next day, and he was still busy in prayer. She called Jurayj, and he said, "My Rabb, my mother is calling me while I'm engaged in prayer." And he continued with the prayer. And she returned. Then on the next day she came again while he was busy in prayer and called Jurayj. And he said, "My Rabb, my mother is calling me while I'm engaged in my prayer." And he continued with the prayer. She said, "My Rabb," meaning the mother, she said, "My Rabb, don't let him die until he has seen the faces of the prostitutes." The story of Jurayj and that of his meditation and prayer spread amongst the Banu Israel. There was a prostitute who had been a beauty personified. She said to the people, "If you like, I can lure him into evil." She presented herself to him, but he paid no heed to her. She came to a shepherd who lived near the temple, and she offered herself to him. The shepherd had sexual intercourse with her, and so she became pregnant. When she gave birth to the baby, she said, "This is from Jurayj," meaning she lied. So they came and asked Jurayj to get down and demolish the temple and began to beat him. He asked them what the matter was. They said, "You have committed fornication with this prostitute, and she has given birth to a baby from you." He said, "Where is the baby?" So they brought him. And then he said, "Just leave me so that I shall perform my prayer." He performed his prayer, and when he finished, he lifted the baby in his stomach, and he asked him, "Oh boy, who is your father?" The baby answered, "He is such and such, who is a shepherd." So the people turned towards Jurayj. They kissed him and touched him, seeking his blessings, and said, "We are prepared to construct your temple with gold," meaning the temple that they destroyed before. He responded by saying, "No, just rebuild it with mud as it had been previously." And so they did. The Prophet ﷺ continues the hadith by talking about the next person who spoke in the cradle. And he ﷺ said, "Then there was a baby who was sucking on his mother's breast when a person dressed in a fine garment came on a priceless riding animal's back. His mother said, 'Oh Allah, make my child like this one.' He, the baby, left sucking towards his mother, and he looked at him and said, 'Oh Allah, do not make me like him.' He then returned to the breast and resumed sucking. He, Abu Hurairah, the narrator, said, as though I can see the Messenger of Allah ﷺ as he is illustrating the scene of his sucking milk with his forefinger in his thumb and sucking back." He, again, the narrator being Abu Hurairah, further reported that the Messenger of Allah ﷺ said, "There happened to pass by them a slave girl who was being beaten, and they were saying, 'You have committed fornication and theft.' She was saying, 'Allah is enough for me, and He is my good protector.' And his mother said, 'Oh Allah, do not make my child like her.' He left sucking, looked at her, and said, 'Oh Allah, make me like her.' It was followed by a conversation between the mother and the child. The mother said, 'A good-looking man happened to pass by, and I said, "Oh Allah, make my child like him." And you said, "Oh Allah, don't make me like him." And then there passed a girl while they were beating her and saying, "You committed fornication and theft." And I said, "Oh Allah, do not make my child like her." And then you said, "Oh Allah, make me like her." The child said, "That man was a tyrant." And I said, "Oh Allah, do not make me like him." And they were saying about the girl, "You committed fornication," whereas in fact she had not committed fornication. And they were saying, "You also committed theft," whereas she had not committed theft. So I said, "Oh Allah, make me like her." This is reported in Bukhari and Muslim.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. So the hadith is very long, and the hadith is narrated by Bukhari and Muslim. But to summarize the hadith, the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us there was only 3 people who speak when they are in the cradle. Only 3 people. The first one was Isa ibn Maryam. We know Isa ibn Maryam, he spoke when he was just born. And we know that in Surah Maryam, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, فَأَشَارَتْ إِلَيْهِ, when Maryam came to her people carrying Isa alayhi salam as a baby, they asked her, where did you get this? Your father was a good man. Your mother, she was another breasted lady. What happened to you, Maryam? فَأَشَارَتْ إِلَيْهِ, and she pointed her finger toward Jesus, peace be upon him, while he was just a born baby. And then they asked her, قَالُوا كَيْفَ نُكَلِّمُ مَنْ كَانَ فِي الْمَهْدِ صَبِيًّا. How can we talk to someone who just born? Is a baby in the cradle. How can we talk to? This is not normal. Then Isa alayhi salam, Jesus spoke and he said, قَالَ إِنِّي عَبْدُ اللَّهِ آتَانِيَ الْكِتَابَ. I'm the slave of Allah, and Allah gave me a book. وَجَعَلَنِي نَبِيًّا. So we know in Surah Maryam that Isa alayhi salam, he spoke when he was just born. That's number one. Number two, he said Jurayj. Jurayj, he was a very righteous and pious man among the children of Israel. He used to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in his own sawma'a, temple. He has his own temple. He used to worship Allah. And his news spread the whole town. Everybody knows he's a very righteous man. He's a very good man. He became famous. Now everybody want to go to him and meet with him and visit him and ask, his blessing and stuff like that. Then there was a beautiful prostitute woman among the children of Israel at that time. And she told, when people were talking about how, pious he are, how righteous Jurayj is, she said, if you want, I can, misguide him and, make him a bad person. So she came to Jurayj to, have affairs with her. She was one of the most beautiful women that you ever imagined. Jurayj, he didn't look at her even. But before that, what happened, because I skipped the earliest part of the hadith, Jurayj, he used to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And one night, he was praying his tahajjud prayer. His mom came to him and she said, oh Jurayj, of course, when your mother calls you, you owe her answer. You have to respond to your mother's call. You have to say, here I am, mom. Because mother, inna lil ummi thuluthaya al-birri. If you divide to be dutiful to your parent, the mother will get 3 or 4. Because mom, she kept the child in her womb 9 months, right? So, Jurayj, when his mother called him, he was not, running around and having fun. He was in his prayer. She called him. Now, inside himself, there is a 2 thought come to his Ummi, Ya Rabbi, Ummi wa Salati. Which one I should choose? Should I continue my prayer or should I cut off my prayer and respond to my mother? Because if you talk during the prayer, khalas, your prayer is finished. So now he's debating himself. Should I respond to my mother and I say, well, here I am, mama? Or should I continue my prayer? So he chose to continue his prayer. Another night, she came to him and he was praying again. She said, oh Jurayj. Similarly, he said, Ummi wa salati, Ya Rabbi, Ummi wa salati. Which one I should? Should I respond to my mother or continue my salah? The third night, same thing happened. And he did the same thing. He chose to continue his prayer other than to respond to his mother. His mother made dua against him. She did not say, oh Allah, send him to hellfire. No. She said, oh Allah, do not take his soul, cause him to die until he see the face of the Mumisad. Mumisad is the breasted woman. Because now he's all his life, he's just his prayer. He is worshiping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He has no desire for anything else except to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So she just make that dua against him. Then that's when the news came and he became famous after his mother made the dua against him. He became famous. Everybody want to meet with him and ask his blessing and blah, blah. Now, after he became famous, this woman, she said to her friends, I can, misguide him and make him bad man. So she came to him. She presented her beauty in front of him to, have relationship with her. But he did not even look at her. He just, continued his prayer. Now she got angry because she didn't get what she wanted. So what she did, in order to prove to the others that Jurayj is a bad man, he is not what you think, to prove that, she went to a shepherd who used to take care of his sheep nearby his, tumble, and she have relationship with that shepherd. And she got pregnant. When she got pregnant, she said, this pregnancy is from Jurayj. The man you call him, he's a bias and he's right. This pregnancy is from that man. So when she delivered the baby, and she said, this baby is from Jurayj, now they start beating him, Jurayj. His people, they beating him, they destroy his temple, they pull him down, and he doesn't know why they're doing this to him. Say, what is wrong? And they say, oh, you think you are a good man? This baby is from you. You have affairs with this prostitute woman. You are a bad man. We thought you are a good man. He told them, hold on. Just give me time. So now, Jurayj, we're still talking about the children who speak in the cradle, right? So Jurayj tells his people, hold on, let me pray 2 rak'ah. So he did 2 rak'ah, he offered 2 rak'ah, and he came to the baby, and he put his finger, in his stomach. He pushed his finger to his stomach. He said, Ya ghulam, man abuk? Oh baby, who's your father? And the baby starts speaking. He said, my father is the shepherd, so and so. Now they apologized to Jurayj, and they said, they kiss his hands, and he got more respect among his people. So now they fix it. They say, we fix for you your temple, and we make for you from your temple from gold. Jurayj tell them, no, I don't need to. I just need. So that the number 2 child who spoke in the cradle. That's number 2. Number 3, the hadith mentioned that there was a woman, she was breastfeeding her child. And a handsome man who dressed well, who is in his horse, and the horse beautified, was passing by in front of the mother, and the child she was breastfeeding him. So she made dua for her child, because all mothers, they want her child to be good, be in respect and have a good life and good status among the society. So she just wanted her child to have a good status among the society, to be like this man, this handsome man, wealthy man, well-respected and well-dressed. She wanted her child to be like this man. So she said, oh Allah, make my son like this one. He stopped drinking from his mother's breast. The baby stopped, and he looked at the man and he said, Allahumma la taj'alni mithlahu. Oh Allah, do not make me like this one. The mother was shocked. Then he went back and started, drink his milk from his mother, right? And then they came to know a slave woman, and her people, they were beating her. And they were accusing her that you commit adultery, you fornicated. While she's saying, Hasbi Allah wa ni'mal wakil. Allah is sufficient for me. And they were accusing her that she theft, that she steal. And she was not saying nothing except, Allah is my helper. Now, the mother said, Allahumma la taj'alimni mithlaha. Oh Allah, don't make my son like her. And he stopped drinking the milk from his mother's, breast. And he looked at the woman, slave woman, and he said, oh Allah, ij'alni mithlaha. Oh Allah, make me like this one. Now the mother was shocked, and she started having a conversation with her child, with her baby. She said, what is your matter? When this man, pass by, and I say, oh Allah, make my son this handsome man, well-dressed, well-respected, You say, and I say, oh Allah, make my son like him. And you say, oh Allah, don't make me like him. And this slave woman, when I say, Allah, don't make my son like her, you say, oh Allah, make me like her. So, the son now is speaking. And he's talking about how, disbeliever was that man that people respect. And this woman, the slave woman that they're accusing her that you commit, adulteries and you steal it and all these things was false. And she was just disobedient. So those are the three people. The hadith is Sahih hadith. Now, before we go further, what we learn from this hadith, the lessons that we can learn from this hadith. Somebody may ask a question, isn't it some other children speak in the Quran? How about Ibn Mashidat Fir'aun? How about Ashab al-Ukhdud? Ashab al-Ukhdud, the king he was, tyrant, and he was, and his people, they become Muslim. Hadith al-Rahib, in the end of the hadith, if I think we read the Hadith al-Rahib, when this, king, he used to have a magician who used to make magic for him, and when that old man, when he get old, he asked him to bring a young man whom he can teach. The hadith is very long, but in the end of the hadith, when a lot of people become Muslim, because when he killed the son, the young man, and he say, in the name of the Lord of the Ghulam, and he killed the Ghulam, all the people, they say, Amanna bi Rabbil Ghulam. We believe the Lord of the boy. And the king now, he was punishing the people. He told his soldiers to dig in front of the roads and set a fire. قُتِلَ أَصْحَابُ الْأُخْدُودِ النَّارِ ذَاتِ الْوَقُودِ. If you read Surah Al-Buruj, the story is there in Surah Al-Buruj. In the end of the hadith, people, they were jumping to the fire until a woman with her child, she came. And she was hesitating to jump into the fire. And the baby spoke to his mother and he said, Ya ummah innaki ala al-haqqi, alqi nafsaki fi an-nar. Say, oh my mom, you are on the right path. Throw yourself into the hellfire. So she jumped to the fire with her baby. That's one. Yusuf alayhi salam. وشهد شاهد من أهلها إن كان قميصه قد من قبل فصدقت وهو من الكاذبين. The Mufassirun said, the person, the witness who said if his qamis ripped up in the back, that means she's a liar and he's telling the truth. But his qamis ripped on the front, he is a liar, Yusuf, and she's telling the truth. We know that. So that's another one. That's number 5. There's another one. Mashidat Fir'aun, bint Fir'aun. The woman who used to comb the hair of the daughter of Fir'aun. That's also another one. So now the hadith, the Sahih hadith is only 3. And then we're talking about another 3. How can we, according to the scholars who know the science of the hadith, they say all the other hadith, they are not to a level that we can consider them sahih. So they just consider them kind of. Imam Nawawi has his own opinion. He said, these 3 things, that these 3 individuals, that Isa alayhi salam, Bari'u Jurayj, and the other child, this 3 one that mentioned this hadith, they are the only authentic one. The other 3 we mentioned is, Imam Nawawi say they were not the babies. They were just children. They were not the babies. That's why the authentic hadith is only these 3 who spoke in the Quran. So there is a lot of Shaykh Al-Albani also, he say most of the hadith, either they are mawquf or mursal or even not sahih. So Imam Al-Albani, he also disregard all the other, the rest. But I think Imam Nawawi's Tafsir and Al-Qurtubi, they are the best. Now, what we can learn from this hadith? A lot of things. Number one, sometimes, even if you are a righteous person, Allah may put you in a test. But in the end of the day, if you are a righteous person, you will prefer. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will show you the path. Also, this hadith, we learn from this hadith that the importance of to be dutiful to your mom, to your parent. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put him in this trial, Jurayj. Allah put him in this trial because he did not respond to his mother. So we can learn from this hadith, the right way was to respond to his mother. If he responded to his mother, he will not go through this, challenge and difficulties. So if you are praying Sunnah prayer, so the Fuqaha, they said, if you are praying Sunnah prayer and your mother call you, you should cut off your prayer and respond to your mother. It's called. And father also will include there. Also, we can learn from this hadith something that even today, we can apply to our life today. And this is the most dangerous area. You remember always I told you, this class is not to memorize a lot of hadith. This class is to know your deen. What is your deen? What is the right things you need to do? What do you need to know about your deen? It is very obvious and very clear. If you don't know your deen, if you don't learn the Quran, if you don't learn the Sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, if you don't know your deen, and you don't go your deen deep, anyone can come to you and fool you, manipulate you, and misguide you. Look what this prostitute woman did. She just said when she came to know that this man is a righteous man, everybody respect him, is a righteous man, she decided to misguide him, and she created, after she could not succeed to misguide him, she created mischief and false statement, to the point that even the other people who used to respect him, they believe her narrative. The people who know that Jurayj, he's a righteous man, he's a pious man, he's a good Muslim, the people who know that believe the prostitute woman's narrative. That is exactly equal to the media today. The media will brainwash you, the media will misguide you, the propaganda, that's why more than 90%, the people who call themselves they are Muslim, they buy in what the media is saying. It gets into their subconsciousness to the point that a lot of people who pray here with us in the Jum'ah, they think that Islam is a terrorist. Islam is equal terrorist because what the media and propaganda they repeated. A lot of Muslims, a lot of them, they run away from the masjid. They're scared. The other things we learn from this hadith is the jealous. Why this prostitute woman, she want to misguide Jurayj? Why? It's all about jealous. She doesn't want someone to have a status. It's a shaitanic work. And they beautify the shaitanic work. That's something we learn from this hadith. So there is a lot of lessons that we can learn from this hadith, and we should apply to our life. Not to read the hadith because this hadith is something happened in the history, and the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam shared with us. Why in the first place Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam sharing with us this hadith? Why? What is the benefit? What is the purpose behind this hadith, to know this hadith? To just enjoy and know some stories, some facts, historical facts. No, it's not. We learn a lot of lessons from this hadith. We learn that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sometimes may test you, even if you are the most righteous human being. So somebody should not say, I'm a good Muslim. I pray my salah 5 times. I fast Ramadan. I go to Hajj. I give my zakat. I help the poor people. I'm a good person. Why this happened to me? Why people against me? Why this happened? What did happen? You cannot say that. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala may test you. Despite who you are, despite what you do, Allah may put you in a test. And the best example for that, it is Surah Al-Kahfi itself. Surah Al-Kahfi, there is 4 major stories in Surah Al-Kahfi. The first story is the story of the Ashab Al-Kahfi, the youth who went to the cave, whom Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put them, tested them their faith. They ran away for their faith. They were in test, either to believe Allah or to worship the king like others. So Allah put them in a test, but they passed the test because they ran. But what happened after they ran for their faith? What happened to them? وَلَبِثُوا فِي كَهْفِهِمْ 300 وَازْدَادُوا تِسْعًا. Allah protected them because of their yaqeen, certainty about the faith. Because they are trusting of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with the difficulties and challenges. Allah protected them and Allah made them to sleep 309 years. They don't need food. The dog is وَكَلْبُهُمْ بَاسِطٌ ذِرَاعِهِ بِالْوَسِيدِ. So they passed the test. But it was not easy. Similarly, anyone among us, Allah can test you. Allah can put you in a trouble in your faith. Now your faith, is your faith shaky or you have a strong faith? Like Jurayj. Allah might test you because of your wealthy. So that's a second story. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned the story of the 2 men. وَضْرِبْ لَهُمْ مَثَلَ الرَّجُلَيْنِ جَعَلْنَا لِأَحَدِهِمَا جَنَّتَيْنِ مِنْ أَعْنَابٍ وَحَفَفْنَاهُمَا بِنَخْلٍ. 2 men, one is poor and the other one is rich. So the rich one, he's a disbeliever. And he say, وما أظن أن تبيد هذه أبدا وما أظن الساعة قائمة ولئن رددت إلى ربي لأجدن خيرا منها منقلبا. He said, I don't think I'm going to lose my garden that has all type of fruits and vegetables, the spring waters. Say, وما أظن أن تبيد هذه أبدا. And I don't believe that the day of his judgment will be established. Hypothetically, if the day of judgment is established, I will get something better than this even. You poor man, you're going to be poor in Akhirah. He's telling his Muslim brother, Muslim friend, the poor man. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala may test you because of your wealthy. That's the second story. The third story, Allah may put you in a test because of your knowledge. So when Allah gives you knowledge, are you going to become arrogant and say, I'm a scholar, I'm alim, I know this, I know that, nobody like me? Or do you humble yourself? When someone has knowledge, should be humble, not arrogant. That's Musa alayhi salam and Al-Abd Salih. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, how this happened, the story of Musa alayhi salam with Abd Salih. Because Musa alayhi salam was given a speech among the children of Israel. And they asked him, is there anyone who more knowledgeable than you? Musa alayhi salam, he didn't know any other messenger. He said, no, I'm the most knowledgeable person. He was honest. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put him in a trial. He said, there is a abdan min ibadina. One of our slaves is somewhere there. Go and find him and learn from him. And you know the story. But Musa alayhi salam, what did he say? He humbled himself. When Al-Abd Salih told him, you cannot be patient with me. Musa alayhi salam said, I will be patient with you. And I will not disobey you anything you command me. وَلَا أَعْصِي لَكَ أَمْرًا. And we know the story. فَإِنِ اتَّبَعْتَنِي فَلَا تَسَلْنِي عَنْ شَيْءٍ حَتَّى أُحْدِثَ لَكَ مِنْ ذِكْرًا. If you choose to follow me and learn from me, do not ask me any question, whatever I do, until I explain to you. And we know the stories. But Musa, he humbled himself. He followed the direction of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and he passed the test. But the other one, the wealthy man, he failed the test. So sometimes people, they fail the test, sometimes they pass the test. What is the fourth story? The story of Dhul Qarnayn. How Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tested Dhul Qarnayn? Power. Allah gave him power. He controlled the entire planet. ويسألونك عن ذي القرنين يقول سأتلو عليكم منه ذكر إنا مكنا له في الأرض وآتيناه من كل شيء سببا. Allah gave him the power to control, to travel around the globe. Around the globe, he was running the entire planet. But was he arrogant? Arrogant? No, he was not. He was humble. So Allah may test you your faith, your wealthy, your knowledge, and the status. So some people they fail, some people they passed. So what we learn from this hadith is always to be humble and not to complain. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put you in a challenge sometimes, it doesn't mean Allah hates you. No. It's just Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala testing your faith. How strong your faith is. How far you can go. أشدكم بلاء الأنبياء ثم الأولياء ثم الأمثل فالأمثل. The Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, the most tested people are the messengers. Ibrahim alayhi salam, they throw him in the fire, right? Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was kicking out from his homeland, the Mecca, and actually they were trying to kill him and assassinate him that night. The night he left Mecca. وإذ يمكر بك الذين كفروا ليثبتوك أو يقتلوك أو يخرجوك ويمكرون ويمكر الله والله خير الماكرين. There were three, scenarios. Either they kill you, or put you in jail, or kick you out from Mecca. Also, there is another story similar to this one, even though this story it's not authentic story. It's Ibn Kathir narrated this story in his tafsir. The other story is similar to this one, but the result is totally different. It's opposite, which said that there was a rahib like Jurayj in his sawma'a. He has also his temple, and he was a worshipper. There was 3 or 4 brothers, and they used to have one sister. So they were traveling. So they said, whom we can trust with our sister? Which person in the whole town whom we think are the most trustworthy person that we can entrust our sister. So they all agree, the worshippers in his temple, that's the only man that we can entrust our sister. So they came to him. He refused in the beginning. They told him, we're going to travel, we want you to take care of our sister. So in the beginning he refused. They nagged him, but then finally he accepted to take care of her. So he used to cook for her, and they are absent. He used to cook for her, and he put the food next to her door. Shaitan whispered him, say, you are a rude man, why are you doing this? To make the story short, the story said, until he have relationship with her, because Shaitan was, encouraged him step by step, until he have a relationship with her, and she got pregnant. And when she got pregnant, Shaitan came to him and said, man, you are the most respectful man. People, they introduce you their sister, and now she's pregnant, what are you going to do? And he said, what should I do? Shaitan kill her and bury her under your... And tell her brothers when they come back, oh, she got sick and she died. He did it. Now, her brothers, they came back. He told them what Shaitan told him, and they believe him. But one night, all of them, they saw in their dream that the guy, he's the one who killed their sister. All of them. In the morning, each one of them was scared to tell and share his dream with others. But eventually, they shared the dream all together, all of them. Now they came to me and they say, you kill our sister. So Shaitan came to me and said, what should I do? He said, the only way you can be safe from this mess, to make one sujood for me. So he makes sujood for Shaitan, and they kill him. That one, so even though this story I'm telling you right now is not an authentic story, but Ibn Kathir narrated the story in his book. But we can see the two stories, the end of the two stories, how different they are. So we should always ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect us. We should always, make dua and ask Allah to protect us. And always remember the shayateen al-insi wal-jinn. Shaitan, it's not only the devil ones. There is a human being who is a shaitan. If you encounter any human being who inviting you something in disbelief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that human being is a shaitan. Stay away from it. Do not associate yourself with that human being. Run away from like shaitan. Otherwise, you will end up in a wrong place. May Allah protect us.
So we'll start the next chapter, which is chapter 33, benevolent treatment towards orphans, girls, the weak, the poor, and the humble people. قال الله تعالى أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم واخفض جناحك للمؤمنين and lower your wings for the believers, be courteous to the fellow believers. وقال الله تعالى واصبر نفسك مع الذين يدعون ربهم بالغداة والعشي يريدون وجهه ولا تعد عيناك عنهم تريد زينة الحياة الدنيا. And keep yourself, O Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, patiently with those who call to their Rabb, meaning your companions who remember their Rabb with glorification, praising in their prayers and other righteous deeds. Do this in morning and afternoon, seeking His face, and let not your eyes overlook them, desiring the pomp and glitter of the life of the world. وقال الله تعالى فأما اليتيم فلا تقهر وأما السائل فلا تنهر. Therefore treat not the orphan with oppression and repulse not the beggar. وقال الله تعالى أرأيت الذي يكذب بالدين فذلك الذي يدعو اليتيم ولا يحض على طعام المسكين. Have you seen him who denies the recompense? That he is who repulses the orphan harshly and urges not the feeding of al-miskin, meaning the poor.
So those verses are, it's clear, and it connected with the bab, the subject itself, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala encouraging us to lower our wing to the, poor, to the believers. وَخْفِضْ جَنَاحَكَ لِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ. And Surah Al-Imran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say, فبما رحمة من الله لنت لهم ولو كنت فظا غليظ القلب لانفضوا من حولك فاعف عنهم واستغفر لهم وشاورهم في الأمر. Allah said, because Allah is mercy, you become so gentle and lenient to your companion, to your followers. Allah is addressing the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Away from you, nobody will be with you. So it's always good to show mercy and love and kind, specifically for the weak ones, for the orphans, for the poor people, for the elders. As Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, he is not among us the one who is not respectful to our elders and merciful to our youngers. So it's a mercy, it's a love, it's a compassion that should be there. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say in this ayah we explained before, وَاصْبِرْ نَفْسَكَ مَعَ الَّذِينَ يَدْعُونَ رَبَّهُمْ بِالْغَدَاةِ وَالْعَشِيِّ يُرِيدُونَ وَجْهَهُ وَلَا تَعْدُ عَيْنَاكَ عَنْهُمْ تُرِيدُ زِينَةَ الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا. Keep yourself with those, among those, مَعَ الَّذِينَ, who invoke their Lord, make dua, pray to their Lord in the morning and the afternoon, بِالْغَدَاةِ وَالْعَشِيِّ. And they only seek Allah's pleasure, Allah's mercy, Allah's forgiveness. So then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَلَا تَعْدُ عَيْنَاكَ. تَعْدُ عَيْنَاكَ means do not overlook them. تُرِيدُ زِينَةَ الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا. Seeking the beauty of this world, materials. Subhanallah, you always... The Quran is so amazing, brothers and sisters. I'm telling you this. If you know and understand this Quran, wallahi, you will understand what is the purpose of your life, why you are here, why we are in this life. And subhanallah, he is the Rasulullah who never disobey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who pray all nights And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala telling him, do not overlook them seeking the beauty of this material, this world materials. And if you look as today, how we behave as a Muslim today, and you compare which one is more important for us, dunya or akhirah? I'm not going to the heart of the people, but their action, when I compare to the Quran, their action showing me they only care about 99% they care about this dunya, not akhirah. The action showing that they care about dunya, not akhirah. That's what the result I can see. And Allah commanded and telling His Messenger, وَلَا تَعْدُ عَيْنَاكَ عَنْهُمْ تُرِيدُ زِينَةَ الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا. You know. And we explained the hadith that the child who just born a baby who's saying, oh Allah, make me like that slave woman, not the man who have, beautiful dress, beautiful horses, well respected in the society. He say, oh Allah, don't make like that one, because that one was not somebody who would obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But this slave woman, she is a believer. She is obeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So sometimes people, they may miss the point. We should not miss the point. If we want to be in a good hand in akhirah, we need to really take care of our iman and faith in our deen. Inshallah.
فأما الحديث وعن سعد بن أبي وقاص رضي الله عنه قال كنا مع النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم 6 نفر فقال المشركون للنبي صلى الله عليه وسلم اطرد هؤلاء لا يجترئون علينا وكنت أنا وابن مسعود ورجل من هذيل وبلال ورجلان لست أسميهما فوقع في نفس رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم ما شاء الله أن يقع فحدث نفسه فأنزل الله تعالى ولا تطرد الذين يدعون ربهم بالغداة والعشي يريدون وجهه سورة الأنعام رواه مسلم. Sa'ad bin Abi Waqqas radiallahu anhu reported, 6 of us were with the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam when the infidels or the mushrikun said to him, drive these ones away lest they should begin to venture against us. The 6 were myself, meaning Sa'ad bin Abi Waqqas, Ibn Mas'ud, a man from the Hudayl tribe, Bilal, and 2 other men whose name I did not know. The Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam thought that what Allah wished him to think, and Allah revealed the following ayah, and turn not away those who invoke their Rabb morning and afternoon seeking His face.
Allahu Akbar. So again, he connected the chapter to the ayat. So Sa'd bin Waqqas, we know who is Sa'd bin Waqqas. وسعد مع سعيد وابن عوف وطلحة والزبير وعامري ومن كبار الصحابة ومن العشرة المبشرين بالجنة. So now Sa'd, he's reporting this hadith that he say we were 6 people with the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, poor people, masakin, with the Messenger. Now the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he's giving da'wah, right? So now he want to give da'wah to this, people who were the elites of Quraysh. The wealthy people, those who have a status. So they told the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they said, if you want to sit with us and talk to us about the new religion that you're talking about, then you have to leave these people, let them go away, and then you can sit with us, and you can talk to us and explain to us the new faith. The Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam is a human. This is very clear. He's a human. Sometimes, some thoughts can come to his mind. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala corrected him on the spot. The Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam say, maybe I should accept what they are offering, and tell my, this companion, go to your home and sit with these people. So if this, the elite of Quraysh, if they accept Islam, then the whole town of Mecca, for the benefit of the da'wah. So sometimes you may have some thought, but maybe that's a destroyer even. It may destroy you. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala corrected him immediately. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, what is the ayah? وَلَا تَطْرُدِ الَّذِينَ يَدْعُونَ رَبَّهُمْ بِالْغَدَاةِ وَالْعَشِيِّ. Can you imagine? Look at the similarity. What is Surah Al-Kahfi? وَاصْبِرْ نَفْسَكَ. احبس نفسك means be patient. Your soul, yourself, you're present with those. What did he say? Surah Al-Kahfi, وَاصْبِرْ نَفْسَكَ مَعَ الَّذِينَ يَدْعُونَ رَبَّهُمْ بِالْغَدَاةِ وَالْعَشِيِّ. Those who worship their Lord in the morning and the afternoon. And here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَلَا تَطْرُدِ الَّذِينَ يَدْعُونَ رَبَّهُمْ بِالْغَدَاةِ وَالْعَشِيِّ. Similarly, same. The two ayahs, they're giving you the same meanings. At-tard means if they kick you out from if we kick out somebody here in our gathering tonight, that's what we call dard in the Arabic language. In the Quran, the terms that Allah uses is very powerful. Allah say, وَلَا تَضْرُدِ الَّذِينَ, means that how can the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam kick out his own Sahaba? He didn't say anything in the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It was a thought come to his mind. And Allah immediately corrected him. He said, وَلَا تَضْرُدِ الَّذِينَ. And the terms and the language the Quran uses is very powerful. Actually, it will make the Messenger get to scare. Why? Because Allah wants to teach him a lesson that this type of thoughts should not come to your mind from that day. And it never. Abdullah ibn Maktoum in Surah Al-Abasa, one day he was engaged in talk with this elite of Quraysh, the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, inviting him to Islam with the hope that if they accept Islam, then all Arabs, they will accept Islam. And Abdullah ibn Maktoum, he was a blind man. A blind man, he came to him and he said, Ya Rasulullah, taught me what Allah taught you. He didn't know, Abdullah ibn Maktoum, he didn't know the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam is sitting with his people. And it was a little bit uncomfortable for the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam because he was taught in the elite of Quraysh. And he knows the elite of Quraysh, when they look Abdullah ibn Maktoum, they may feel uncomfortable themselves too. So the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam turned his face toward the elite of Quraysh. Instead, to Abdullah ibn Maktoum. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed, عَبَسَ وَتَوَلَّى أَنْ جَاءَهُ الْأَعْمَى وَمَا يُدْرِيكَ لَعَلَّهُ يَتَزَكَّى أَوْ يَذَّكَّرُ فَتَنْفَعُهُ الذِّكْرَى. Abasa means when you frown your face. He's frowned his face, وَتَوَلَّى, and he turned his face. Because the blind man came to him. Abasa. Abasa, even the statement itself, the verb, it's a past tense verb. And Allah didn't say, Abasta ya Muhammad. He said, Abasa. So, it's so beautiful, wallahi, brothers and sisters. I wish if everybody understand. The Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam from that day, anytime Abdullah ibn Maktoum come, he used to put his, cloth in the ground to Abdullah ibn Maktoum, and he would say, Marhaban biman atabani fihi Rabbi. Welcome, the one Allah has called me because of him, Abdullah ibn Maktoum. Similarly, this ayat, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala teach him, the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, it's a red light. You cannot cross this. اصبر نفسك مع الذين ولا تطرد الذين يدعون ربهم بالغداة والعشي. So what we learn from this ayah? We learn that what is important is the faith, not the wealthy, not the status, not the, how this person look or that person look. No, those are just, something. But nothing wrong to have a wealthy. There's nothing wrong to have a wealthy. But your wealthy should not make you away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You should connect with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala all your life, under any circumstance. Always, in the difficult time, in the ease time, always be with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. How? We have to be with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with our salah. The best connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is a salah. As-salah. The last word of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was as-salah wa ma malakat aymanukum. Salah and what your right hand possesses. The salah is the fine line between somebody to be Muslim or non-Muslim. العهد الذي بيننا وبينهم الصلاة فمن تركها فقد كفر. The Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, the agreement between us and others are the salah. If anybody, they don't observe their prayer, abandon their prayer, they are not Muslim. Period. That's the Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It's not me and anybody. So salah, 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 salah. أول ما يسأل به العبد يوم القيامة الصلاة. صلاة صلاة صلاة. يدعون ربهم بالغداة والعشي. Do you understand? يدعون ربهم بالغداة والعشي. They invoke. Actually, the translation, it is not giving the real meaning of يدعون ربهم بالغداة والعشي. يدعون ربهم بالغداة والعشي is the prayer. بالغداة is Fajr prayer. والعشي is the Dhuhr and Asr prayer. So يدعون ربهم بالغداة والعشي means they observe their prayer in the Fajr time, in the afternoon, and then another ayah will talk about Isha and Maghrib. So it's the Salah. That's what that means is يدعون ربهم بالغداة والعشي. One more hadith and then we'll stop there and get question and answer.
وعن أبي هريرة عائذ بن عمرو والمزني وهو من أهل بيعة الرضوان رضي الله عنه أن أبا سفيان أتى على سلمان وصهيب وبلال في نفر فقالوا ما أخذت سيوف الله من عدو الله مأخذها فقال أبو بكر رضي الله عنه أتقولون هذا لشيخ قريش وسيدهم فأتى النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم فأخبره فقال يا أبا بكر لعلك أغضبتهم لئن كنت أغضبتهم لقد أغضبت ربك الله أكبر فأتاهم فقال يا إخوتاه أغضبتكم قالوا لا يغفر الله لك يا أخي رواه مسلم. So Ali bin Amr reported that Abu Sufyan passed by Salman, Suhaib, Bilal and some other companions radiallahu anhum. They said to him, did not the swords of Allah exact their due from the foes of Allah? Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu said to them, do you speak like this to the chief of the Quraysh and their master? Then he went to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and related this news to him. He sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Abu Bakr, perhaps you have angered them. If so, you have angered your Lord. Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu went back to them and said, brothers, did I offend you? They replied, no, may Allah forgive you, brother.
So this hadith in Sahih Muslim is an authentic hadith. And this hadith is one of the amazing hadith that, like Bilal, Suhaib, Salman, some other companion, the early generation of the Sahaba, As-Sabiqun Al-Awwalun, those who accept Islam. And by the way, all the three of them he mentioned, none of them was Arab. Bilal was Habashi, Salman was Roman, and Salman was a Persian, and Suhaib was Roman, right? None of them was Arab. But there was other companion who was sitting there. And then Abu Sufyan, as you know, he accepted Islam after Fath Makkah. So Abu Sufyan, he did not accept Islam in the early days. Actually, he was against the Muslims. He was leading Ghazwat Uhud. He was the leader of Quraysh when 70 companion was killed, right? So after Abu Sufyan accepted Islam and Islam, take over, one day Abu Sufyan, those companion, Bilal, Suhaib, Salman, and some other, all the early generation of the Sahaba, they were sitting, and then Abu Sufyan was passing by. So they said, ما أخذت سيوف الله من عدو الله ما أخذها. The swords of Allah did not take its share some of Allah's enemies. And Abu Bakr, look at them. Abu Bakr was sitting with them. And he looked at them and he said, how can you say the leader of Quraysh and the master of Quraysh, this type of, Abu Bakr, he didn't like what they say about Abu Sufyan. Then Abu Bakr, he just left. Because Abu Bakr, he was very close to the Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. He always used to, even 5 minutes, 3 minutes, if he is not with the messenger, he always used to frequently go back and forth to the messenger. So he went to the messenger, he left them, and then he shared the story with the messenger of Allah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Now the messenger, just like, it was like a shock. Say, Ya Abu Bakr, لعلك أغضبتهم فإن أغضبتهم فقد أغضبت ربك. Say, oh, Abu Bakr, did you make them angry? If you make them angry, remember, you make Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala angry. Abu Bakr gets scared. Now the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam is saying this. He rushed to them, and they were still sitting there. And then he asked them, my brothers, did I offend you? Because what did he say? He didn't say much. He just said, أتقولون, are you going to say this about the master of Quraysh and the Sayyid of Quraysh? That's all. He didn't say nothing wrong. And then they say, no, يغفر لك. May Allah forgive you, my brother. We did not. What did you say to us after we said something about Abu Sufyan? It did not offend us. But the main purpose of the hadith is, even though they are the one who say something about Abu Sufyan, is still the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam tell Abu Bakr, if you make them angry, you make Allah angry. Why? Because these people, they are very close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They are special people. They are the one who supported the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam from the beginning. We know Bilal, how he suffered. We know how Makkah is hot. In the hot weather, in these months, August, July, when it's above hundreds, they used to bring Bilal and they put him on the ground, and on top of him they put a heavy rock that he cannot even remove. And Bilal, he just do his finger like this, Ahad, Ahadun Ahad. It doesn't bother him. And today, our Ummah today, something very simple. We cannot even stand to be fasting even Monday and Tuesday, Monday and Thursday sometimes. We cannot stand for nothing because we just, we've been spoiled. There is one of the Sahaba, he say, I found myself, I was one of 7 with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and we do have no food except the leaves of the trees. حتى قرحت أشداغنا. He said, until our mouth have a cracks because they eat the leaves. They don't have a food for 1 month. They eat just the leaves from the trees. حتى قرحت أشداغنا. Because they were eating from the trees, the leaves, they don't have any other food. And nowadays, look what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless. Allah bless us so much. Alhamdulillah, we should be grateful first, foremost. And also, we should utilize whatever blessing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us to use what believes in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Like Musa alayhi salam said, Rabbi bima an'amta alayya falan akuna dhahira lil mujrimin. Say, my Lord, whatever blessing you bestow upon me, please don't make me to utilize that blessing to support the criminals, the wrongdoers, the disobedience of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So if Allah gives you a blessing, utilize that blessing, what believes in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That blessing could be a knowledge, could be a wealthy, could be an intellect, smartness. Utilize your smartness. You are wealthy, you are knowledge, you are strength. Whatever good Allah gives you, and there is so many goods Allah gives us. We have to be grateful, and we must utilize what believes in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and always see the blessing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us. Inshallah, we'll stop there. If there's any question or comments, the floor is open.
Does any of the sisters have questions?
Thanks.
Earlier you were talking about how I forgot the name.
Juraj?
Yeah, Juraj.
Yeah.
So you never said whether it's preferable to leave the salah if your mother's calling you.
I think you left.
Oh, okay.
I mentioned that. So it's obvious from the hadith that if you are observing, and the mufassirun, the people who explain the hadith said, if you are in a sunnah prayer and your mother call you, you should stop your prayer and respond to your mother's call. Yeah? The sunnah prayer, yeah. Means that when Abu Sufyan was still non-believer, he was not killed by the sword of the believers. That's what they were hinting. Yeah. Yeah. No, that was Khalid ibn Walid. This one was Abu Sufyan. Yeah. Saifullah al-Maslul was Khalid ibn Walid.
So, you mentioned that you should always leave prayer when your mother calls you, but what about your aunt or
Your aunts? The hadith only talk about mother. So aunts are different than the mother. So if your auntie call you, you can keep going to your prayer, sunnah prayer. Yeah. That's a good question. Very good question.
One more call for the sisters. Any questions?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
there's a question. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's okay.
They don't have questions. Okay. So inshallah we'll stop there. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر.